Hey guys, just got done watching another Jean Claude Van Damme film, Hard Target from 1993. Now I remember watching this in 1995 and absolutely loving this movie. This has to be probably my all-time favourite Jean Claude Van Damme movie because there's so much greatness to it. So let's start off with the stars. So it's directed by John Woo, one of the most amazing action directors of all time. Hardboiled, The Killer, Once a Thief, Broken Arrow, Face Off, Mission Impossible 2, the list goes on. So Jean Claude Van Damme, Lance Henriksen, Yancey Butler, Arnold Vosloo, Willie C. Carpenter. It turns out that Yancey Butler's character, Natasha Nat Binder, people call her Nat for short, she's looking for her father, Douglas Binder, because she wants to find out where he is so she can see him. But at the very beginning of the film, he's being hunted by Pick Van Cleef and Emile Fouchon and their men, who basically these people pay to go on a hunting trips, and this is in New Orleans. So she doesn't know this, so she goes searching for him, and she's not getting much luck, and she goes to this person's place where it turns out he left some stuff, and he left because he owed money. So he was poor and he ended up living on the streets with his friend Elijah Roper. Later on, she goes into a cafe or restaurant, whatever you want to call it. She goes in there and she's getting all her money out like this, and that's when we see Jean Claude Van Damme's character Chance looking at her like and he walks out, and this is when one of the greatest tunes in history happens. I wish I could do it properly, but I can't. But it's awesome because it just adds to the excitement of the film. So he kicks the door slightly and he sees these men looking at her. So what he does is when he leaves, you see them beat her up and stuff, and he turns up, beats them up, and she goes, "Will you help me?" And he says no. Later on he says yes. And they go on a journey of trying to figure out what happened to Douglas Binder. Now, at the moment, it doesn't sound that interesting, does it? But it gets better. So they're looking around, and then they go see Elijah Roper, who's a friend of not only Chance's, but of her dad's. It seems a bit weird because you'd think they would kind of have known each other in between, and Elijah. So Elijah tells them that her dad, Douglas, was giving away flyers. So they go and visit Randall. Now, this guy is basically sleazy. He's your basic loser who's trying to make money off of other people's misery, basically. And while they're there, that's when we get to meet Pick properly. He says something like this: "You let me know you were going to have company, Randall." So later on, we find out that they've got another hunt going on for Elijah. And eventually they decide they want to hunt Chance because he seems to be getting in their way. At one point, Chance and Natasha go to see Randall, but they find him dead. That's when the action starts. They start getting chased and the hunt is on. But who is actually hunting who? Because they're chasing after Chance and Natasha, but who's getting the upper hand? So there's some really great scenes in this. One of the ones has to be when Pick kills Randall, because he says to Randall, he whips the shotgun around and he goes, I know you weren't trying to hurt my feelings, Randall. And you're just like, wow, this guy's twisted. And that's one of the best things about this movie. Vosloo and Lance Henriksen are awesome in this movie. They both go off of each other really well. And they're really, really twisted. One's calmer than the other, but you can tell they need each other in order to feel like they're powerful. You can just see it. But they're two very twisted people that like hunting and killing people. One of the best things in this movie has to be when Pick shoots someone through an eye hole in a door. Awesome scene. So they're chasing him, and overall there's a scene with a snake. There's a scene with a house explosion. There's a scene with Jean Claude Van Damme standing on a bike and then jumping off and shooting it and exploding. This movie has it all. This movie is the action movie what we want to see. It's all action. It's got great characters. It's got great development. The final action scene's awesome. Chance taking on like 40 or 50 different people, and just, it's awesome. And the ending to Emile Fouchon is just incredible. Right? It's just great. It's just a great ending because he believes it's okay, and then boom, it's got him. So one of the highlights I want to say this film for me has to be Uncle Duvet. Now, when Uncle Duvet comes into it later on in the film, he's just funny. He brings comedy, he brings action, he brings that lovable character that you don't want anything to happen to, but if it did, you'd be upset. But at the same time, he's showing so much out there. This is a John Woo film. So this has got your classic action, it's got the birds, it's got the doves in it, it's got everything you could ever want from action. There was a period where John Woo brought his action movies to America. Like I said, in Broken Arrow, Face Off, Mission Impossible, and so forth. Paycheck. One of the other things I like to say about this movie is there's some scenes in this movie which you will see later on in films like Face Off. One is when Pick and Chance are shooting each other through a glass hallway. In Face Off, they do it through a glass mirror. So there's very similar scenes in these movies. But overall, this is a highly recommended film. I would say it's as good as Bloodsport in a lot of ways, but obviously in a different kind of way, because Bloodsport's more martial arts, so this is more action. So if you like Jean Claude Van Damme or you like pure action movies, go out there, get this film. If it's in your collection, get it out, watch it again, because it's worth your time and it's a lot of fun. I give it a 5 out of 5. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a lovely day and subscribe. Thanks, guys.